Yeah. Had some person making fun of my art. I was talking about, someone said that AI is not real art. And I go, well, art's transcendental. Um, so it doesn't, the argument basically was that humans are required to do art. And I'm like, who do you think made the AI? Right? So you're saying that AI art's not art. People made the AI. What are you saying? And so somebody went through my profile and they got like a blurry screenshot of my art and they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, actually, I'm a world recognized object per second speed painter. I don't use AI. So I put them in this circumstance. I knew what I did is so they're saying I'm just scribbling and I'm saying I'm an object per second speed painter. So now they have a choice. Do they say my art is AI or do they say my art is scribbles? Right. And so they took a really long break. It was like a half hour. They didn't say anything. We were talking back and forth. They didn't say anything for a half hour. And they come back going, worse than Hitler. I guess they did some research on me or something. I've had people do that where like I mention who I am like on Reddit and they come back with, well, no, actually, you know, here's these two problems with them basically is that I don't pay for views or likes. So my stuff looks bad. It's just a fact. They want money. It's a fact they lie for you when you pay them. And it's a fact that if you don't pay them, they poo-poo your stuff because they want you to pay them. And yeah, it's pretty annoying. The sun is nice. It was cold. Yeah, everything in my car froze last night. So it's like, whew. You know what also froze? My alcohol spray. The shit turned to ice too. I've got this cleaning spray. I don't think it's pure alcohol. I think it's a mix. But yeah, that froze as well. So yeah, anyway, it's like, so I basically, they're just calling me dumb scribbler. And I'm like, actually, I'm drawing objects faster than you can see them. And they took a really long break and then they came back and they were like, you're worse than Hitler. So yeah, I mean, I hate circumcision and I'm suspicious of the real government. I don't think that makes me like Hitler. I'm definitely not I'm not a Nazi. Now, people who are pro circumcision who think that the chosen ones are the real chosen ones of God will probably label me a Nazi because I don't like them because I'm circumcised. But I know that they're scammers and that the people pretending to be the victims are really the aggressors, right? It's like pick a fight with somebody, then when they get mad and come for you, go, help, help, he's attacking me. You know, it's exactly like that. So yeah, it was funny though. When I go, I'm actually drawing faster than you can see it. Took a big ass break, had nothing to say for like 30 minutes, and then comes back with like worse than Hitler. And I'm like, okay, maybe to you. What I said in return to that is I'm better than Hitler. Yeah, that's what I said. So, sheesh. I did Adderall before. I can imagine how high Hitler was at the end, but yeah, you make bad decisions. He made horrible decisions. Like this is why Hitler lost. He invaded Russia. That's a bad idea. The other reason Hitler lost is he believed the attack would come from, I think it was the south or the west. He didn't believe the American strike would come from the English border. And so those two mistakes doomed him. Yeah. If he had not invaded Russia, he probably would have been fine. Strike a deal with Russia and say enough is enough. Just take over all of Europe. Um, and that could have been. If he had stopped there, he would have been fine. But instead, he's like, we're going to take Russia too. We're also we're going to fight America and Russia at the same time. Nope. Japan's invading China. Oh, that was a mess. Yeah, Hitler would have been fine if he had see, was he circumcised? I've looked into it, and there's not a lot of definitive evidence, because it would make sense if like they cut his, his sensitive parts when he was a child, and so he's looking for who told him to do that. But the juice box people didn't do that. The juice box people were told to do that and are slaves. So as much as you can like hate circumcision, you should remember that the yarmulke wearing, dreidels spinning people are in a hoax, that they're in a fraudulent culture created as a slave hoax, and that doing the tiny rituals and practicing the sweetness and the love is how they talk you into it. And its real purpose is for circumcision. Yeah, they want to score virgin girlfriends. So, yeah, the juice box people are definitely the enemies of all by their own words or their own books. But they're not in control of their lives. They're slaves. So you should definitely correct them and have pity for them. But they didn't do it to you. The real government did. So yeah, that's why I'm better than Hitler. Is I'm not doing all that shit. For me, my game plan's way different than Hitler. It's like Hitler's plan was like to take the thing over with the military, and like I don't know what his plan was. I don't really care. I don't speak German. So but my plan is to tell the circumcised that the real government did it to them to score virgin girlfriends and get them to take the thing over looking for them. So it's not to put me in control. It's just to get like some satisfying revenge for hurting me. It's to get my fellow victims together, organized, and to take out the perpetrators who did it to us. It's a lot less tyrant and a lot more practical. It just is. That's why I'm better than Hitler. It's like I wouldn't, as much as I hate the juice box people for what they do to people, I understand that they're in a hoax, that they're slaves, that they can't comprehend this situation, right? That they think they're the chosen ones, and they think their culture's real, and they have no idea that they're puppets, right? So it's like, just connect them to feeling what their own genitals feel like, really. And then maybe they'll wake up, right? But I certainly don't think hurting them especially would help. You'd have to take out their masters, which are not Jewish. The masters of the Jews are not Jewish. Yeah, so that's why I'm better than Hitler, is I'm not doing all that chaos like a world takeover. No, I just want the circumcised to get revenge on the people who benefited from cutting them. It's really simple and actually pretty morally right. Yeah, so that's why I'm better than Hitler. Not worse than Hitler. I'm better than Hitler. Yeah, he was making fun of my scribbling, man. He's like, then I was like, actually, I'm an object per second speed painter, and I'm drawing faster than you can see it. And then he took a long ass break, and came back with worse than Hitler. I'm like, okay, I guess he lost. Got nothing to say. Yeah, I couldn't even prove I was telling the truth with an image. I had to just do it in words, which was pretty impressive, because it's like, if I can post an image, I can post like one of my blow-ups with a label so that you could be like, look, there it is. This is what you're looking at, right? And I couldn't do that because my button was missing. I just couldn't post images for some reason. The button wasn't there. And yeah. Those people. Yeah, the victims of circumcision should get it together and look for people with private harems, look for who benefited. And that's the real ruling class. It's not like who you think, right? The presidents were copycats. They were sad copycats. Yeah, the real government's like, just like high fuckers. They just want to have sex with the best girls, and they don't want anyone to ruin it. So that's why they invented circumcision. And everybody from the Muslims to the Jews to the Christians to the Veda are their slaves, right? They're absolutely in hoaxes. Like, the richest people on earth can afford to have free religious buildings everywhere showing the mystical and wonderful art, but it's really to bamboozle you and fool you. So yeah, I kind of appreciate being called worse. When he lost the argument, I became worse than Hitler. So I know I'm better than Hitler. That's the right way to say it. I am better than Hitler. Some madman taking the place over. So yeah, anybody who's circumcised will go like, oh, the Jews are the carriers of this. It's not hard to figure out why they get hated. If you do a crime to a baby's genitals and he lives a life of torture because of how you knifed him, he's going to be mad, right? And it's going to be hard for you to argue he shouldn't be, right? So it's just kind of trash. It's kind of fucking trash. So no, the creator's the dipshit fucking idiot who's like, hey, I made all your bodies hurtable and gave you knives, but be nice. Not going to stop you from being not nice. Right? So the creator's just a hypocrite. Like this idea that God will get justice. God let the animals eat each other for millions of years. God doesn't give a fuck. So yeah, no, God is trash. Unfortunate. We wish the creator cared about us, but there's lots of evidence they don't give a fuck. So yeah, when I told him I'm an object per second speed painter, I was like kind of dreading and just going like, no, because I can't post images, right? It's like I wouldn't be able to prove it. But he like apparently took some time and looked at it again and agreed, and then did some research and came back with, you're worse than Hitler. Which I'm not. I'm better than Hitler. Yeah, I'm better than Hitler. Yeah, Hitler's not an inspiration, but I do find it interesting that he hated the Yuta, and it's like, why did he hate the Yuta? Well, he's a man. So was he cut as a baby, and did he somehow put it together that that's who did it to him? I totally believe in treating people with niceness and respect, but you R-worded a baby with a knife? I don't know if I can tell him not to hate you. I really don't. If you R-word a baby with a knife, I don't feel like I can tell that baby to relax and let go. Forgive. No. That baby wants to get revenge on the people who R-worded him with a knife? I can't stop that. I'm not gonna judge that at all. You better run. Yeah, no, I absolutely just like the slimy fakeness, the little yarmulke. They pretend to give like advice and it's all covering like a really nasty crime to kids. And I'm just like, that shit is just garbage. Garbage, absolute trash. The absolute worst. They're lucky I know that they're slaves. They are. They're lucky that I know that they're slaves for somebody, and that the people who made them are the enemy, and that they're basically just complicit like in dunce, like idiots. They're complicit like fools, So you have to stop them, but hurting them is not going to do anything unless you stop the people who made them. Hurting them is not going to do anything, full stop. You have to stop the people who made them. Yeah, stop them, but treat them like, yeah. Sometimes you don't need to kill the whole army. Sometimes you just need to take the general out. So anyway, that's why I'm better than Hitler.